Hello nerds and welcome to Into the Wild, your favourite wildlife and conservation podcast where we look at all things, well, wildlife and conservation.
This is a podcast of curiosity where we know we don't have all the answers.
Oh, that's my co-host Nadia, by the way.
Hi. But it doesn't really matter because we're here to learn and crucially listen to those who are affected by and closest to the issues that we as conservationists tend to pick over from our comfy living rooms.
So strap yourselves in, open up your luggles, grab a brew and join us as we geek out over nature, share our love for wildlife, rarely take ourselves seriously, all whilst learning. Oh, and we sometimes swear. What do you think like the most common lie is that you tell?
I'm fine.
Yeah. Do you reckon that's the most common one? You reckon?
No, because I actually go into detail, usually, about how I am.
Yeah.
That's just for jokes. The most common lie is probably like... I really do struggle to lie, actually.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not lying, is it? It's
lie,
like...
I just don't say the thing.
Oh, that's worse, isn't it? Yeah. Did you like your dinner? You just stare at them.
Change the subject. Like, oh, can I just use the bathroom?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Because the dinner you fed me made me shit myself.
What's your most common lie?
Probably, hey, sorry, I didn't see your message.
Is this pointed? I always reply to you.
No, I'm just saying, I definitely saw the message. I just didn't have the capacity to reply.
I never say I didn't see your
saw
message. I just say, sorry, I haven't replied yet.
No, quite often I go, hey, sorry, I've just seen this. That's
Oh,
absolute
really?
bollocks.
Do you know what, though?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
obsessed with WhatsApp etiquette. Like, how it's this thing in our lives now. Everyone has to do it, and nobody knows the rules.
There are no rules. This is the thing. It's not a rule-based
carnage.
system. It's just no man's land. Do you know what I mean? You got WhatsApp groups popping up left, right.
You
and
don't get asked. You just get put in a group.
You don't get asked. That's like blinking and then waking up in a party going, what? Wait, what?
And when you leave, there's lights that goes, wee, Ryan has left. You can't you can't do a French exit.
And it's really weird because for every party there's another party going on next door, but minus 2 people in the other party because everyone don't like them.
Yeah, and then there's just versions of the alternative realities on alternative realities, like, oh, let's set up a new friendship group without, Fred, and then...
Yeah.
Sorry, Fred.
Exactly.
But...
Yeah, no offense, Fred. But do you know there's now more WhatsApp groups in existence than there are people in England?
That's bullshit.
Yeah, I made that up. But still, it's kind of believable though, isn't it?
Because I'm one person and I'm in about 50. And actually, that's a conservative. I'm probably in about 100, really, if I go in my archive.
That's a dangerous place, your archives.
I just, by the way, just for anybody that's listening that knows me, I put everyone automatically new in archive. And I don't go in there unless I'm in the mood for WhatsApp. So, and then in my normal WhatsApp, there's like Ryan, Lucy, like my dad, a couple of work groups, like 2 or 3 more, and then everything else is archived. Only when I can bear it do I go in the archive. If you are listening to this and you know me, you are in the archive.
Well, I mean, take that as you will.
Chances are, and it's like I don't know, pandemonium in there.
It's like Pandora's
and
box.
And there's no rhyme or reason to how and when I reply to messages because I go in and I'm just like, my eyes go cross-eyed and I'm like, I don't know.
Anyway, how are you?
Great, fine.
Fine. Yeah. Sorry I didn't reply earlier. I didn't see your message. Should we go on to Nature Highlight?
Yeah, let's go on to Nature Highlight.
Right. What you got, Shake? What you seen?
We have got, going round Butte at the moment, a big super pod of common dolphin.
I've seen this on the gram.
Yeah, they just keep going past.
They're just hanging out, are they?
Just doing the rounds, round, around.
They're bored. They're getting bored.
They're hanging out in Clyde. They're eating the fish.
That's nice. That's really fun.
Yeah, super pod. That's what goes through
Is that
my
their
head.
theme tune, is it?
Yeah. It's pretty cool, right? Super pod.
It is cool.
I don't know whether it's classed as a super pod. It's like 50, 60.
Pretty super, isn't it?
We'll be the judge of that.
I'll be the judge. I think that's a super pod. There'll be a marine
Yes,
scientist.
that's quite
on again,
nice, isn't it?
actually. Yeah, that's quite nice.
A super pod of dolphins from my house.
I'm trying to think what mine is, actually.
Sorry, can just show off a little bit more, like just from the living room window.
Oh, that you can see the super pod. No, that's really good. I'm really happy for you.
Go on then, give me yours.
I honestly, oh my God, I don't think I've noticed. Okay, this is going to be so basic. It's so basic.
Is it too embarrassing? Would you rather have none than this?
I think I'd rather have, I might as well pick a pumpkin spice latte as my nature highlight.
Oh no, is it that? But you're actually wearing like a mustard autumnal jumper as well.
Oh, I don't want to say it, but I do love it.
Is it autumn leaves?
Mm-hmm. No, wait.
Come on.
This, I'm going to count. No, scrap that.
Pull a f***ing parasitic wasp out your ass or something. Please.
No, I went to Wildlife Photographer of the Year
Okay.
awards.
So you saw other people's nature highlights.
I saw other people's nature highlights, some of which, these kids that are taking photos, I think we need to ask some questions here. Why are they so good at taking photos?
Or is it your parents?
I mean, they're very good and they're very lovely people, but you're 11 years old and you smashed that.
Was it photography of the year, but just kids? Like, what are they in their own category?
No, they have a youth category,
They have a youth category.
So there's like a 15 to 18, I think,
Be
and
honest,
11 to 15.
Was the youth category grades shitter than the adults?
No. Like if you lined them up with all the photos, you wouldn't be able to guess.
Oh, really?
The youth compared. No, absolutely not.
Sorry,
no.
was that a burn?
They were amazing.
What's
No,
wrong
no,
with you?
I know it's not like painted art, like when like a kid gives
Yeah,
a picture
yeah.
to put on the fridge, and you're like, I'll put it up, but that is shit.
No,
Doesn't look
reason
anything like a
48
house.
for not having children.
No, it was all really good. I'm just like, why are these kids so good at that? It's like when you I don't know, see like a kid do something really well that's like an adult thing. I don't know, like
Weird.
playing football and they're really good. And you're like, why are you so good at that?
There's something weird going on there.
Like a kid playing the piano. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I just got myself a guitar. I'm learning the guitar.
Bouncing between topics
Again,
So
I
that's
know.
my nature highlight. That's my nature highlight.
And who
I got
won?
the free
Tell me
book.
what the nature was that won.
It was a hyena in the Namib Desert. It was an urban photo, so taking a picture of a hyena in around old mining town. It was good, but the story behind it, and I'm sure the photographer won't actually mind me saying this, not that he's going to listen, but I actually think the story behind it is more powerful than the photo itself. Or maybe the story gives the
just
photo.
the way of life, yes.
Yeah, because he was trying to see this hyena for like 10 years, or hyenas there for 10 years. He always saw footprints, never saw it, and then one day he saw it. So that's quite powerful.
Yeah, that is quite powerful.
And the youth winner was amazing. There's a longhorn beetle on a log, but in the background you could see a digger just destroying the habitat. So it was like looking out over it. Yeah, so it's very, very good photo. Very good photo.
Nice.
Yeah. He was only 14, that lad.
14, that lad. You were only 14, that lad. With a little camera on.
When he first went down pit.
He said, I saw that digger. Oh, there's a beetle.
Amazing how I can go like south of England, then directly to Yorkshire, isn't
exactly.
it? So that was my highlight.
That's
Seeing
really
other people's
nice.
highlights.
Yeah.
Shall we wander into the mystical, entertaining, joyful world?
No. Well, let's go into the factual, accurate, and up-to-date journalistic prism that is nature news.
Okay. Why did you go
I just
so
wanted to
like?
upgrade us. You know, it's not magical or mystical. We are reporting journalists on, complex.
Yeah, but we can be fun and mystical about it.
Yeah, if anything.
If anything,
That's all we are.
we make half of it up.
Exactly.
Okay, strap yourselves in. Let's go.
Right, Ryan. I think after last week's, I'm going to call it a shit show.
You need to write reviews for our show more often.
We've been on a break. I was hungover and I had a story about whale poo. And I just feel like probably the nerds listening, every now and then I've got a hankering or a craving for some actual like deep reflection and thoughts about what's going on in the world. And this is something that I It's actually not news. It's ongoing. No, it's dawn. And actually,
Good start.
and it made me just spend a little bit of time thinking about what's going on here. So, for those of you that don't know, Scotland, there is currently a bill going through Parliament in Scotland to bring in an ecocide law. So this would criminalise large-scale environmental destruction with prison terms and unlimited fines. So it's quite a bold step that this is, happening in Parliament. It's only gone to stage 2. And just to give you like a bit of a rundown of how all of this kind of thing, so people that aren't aware of how laws are made. A law is an act of law. So in the Scottish Parliament, as in actually, in Westminster as well, a bill is something that is a proposed new law. So it's a new idea, or it's a change to an existing law, to change an existing law to make it more appropriate for today. What happens is a bill is proposed. Bills can be proposed by MPs, an individual MP, an individual person or company, and in all different kinds of ways bills can be proposed. Then they have to go through a series of stages where people chat about it and talk about it and pull it apart, maybe do a bit of research, and it has to go through a series of voting before it can then be made into an act, and then it is enshrined in law and becomes law. So for this bill at the moment, it's only in stage 2 and there's 5 stages. And it's at the stage where they're calling in experts to respond to, to give their thoughts on the bill. So the bill's there's like a draft bill, as it were. And so the Scottish Parliament Information Centre is kind of calling on or pulling together the research. And only last week there was like an Ecocide bill report of all of the views that people, kind of external people, so organisations a bit like Nature Scot, Scottish Farmers Union, so loads of people look at it and they give their comments and thoughts as it's debated through Parliament. So if I could just read a summary. So there is overall support for the aim of Ecocide to criminalise the more serious forms of environmental harm. So 33 out of 37 organisations who responded supported the aim to criminalise the more serious forms of environmental harm. 2 did not support, 2 were neutral. Of the 2 that did not support, it was one of them was Scottish Whitefish Producers Association, and also the Scottish Farmers Union for Scotland took a neutral position, Scotland Food and Drink. So kind of the agricultural people are like, doesn't seem like we need this thing that criminalises ecocide. Read into that what you will, but obviously, the comments are basically like, there's already lots of environmental frameworks for not damaging the environment. Why do we need this extra thing? Obviously, it speaks to the fact that there is mass ecocide on ecosystem scale in Scotland, as there is in England, Wales and Northern Ireland. So at the moment, what's happening with it now, it's really interesting. If you go to parliament.scot and you can search for the Ecocide bill, you can have a read at the comments and the debates, a summary of people pulling it apart going, oh, will it work? There was a call to define it a little bit more, because
that's fair.
So when laws are made, the language has to be bulletproof. Otherwise, people can go, well, technically, I didn't break the law because it says this. So when laws are being made, it goes loads and loads of lawyers and legal experts and eyes go over this with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that it is strong and robust and actually useful. Because what you don't want is big companies and organisations going, well, actually, technically, if you look at Clause 10, it means that we're technically not causing ecocide. So at the moment, they're trying to strengthen the definitions of two of the things. The committee asked for views on how the bill defines ecocide as causing severe environmental harm, where severe means the environmental harm has serious adverse effects and is either widespread or long-term. But then they're like, okay, define what is serious adverse effects. And then you have to define widespread and long-term. So there's a really interesting, this is like a 31-page document. It's quite interesting to look at how laws are made. If you're someone that's interested in the environment, you care about nature and wildlife and the law and nature protections, trying to get your head around, why is it so hard to have laws that protect nature? So one of the definitions of long-term suggested, if it is irreversible or unlikely to be reversed through a process of natural recovery within 12 months of the environmental harm occurring. So there was a great degree of support for the definitions in the bill here, but obviously people still pulling it apart. I'm not going to go in any more detail, but
You're not going to read the 31-page
no,
document?
I'm not going to read it for you, but I think it's just something to be aware on. That's something that if Scotland, it will be landmark for the UK to have ecocide as a criminal offence. And will the other 4 countries follow? Will it actually make a difference? You know, what does it mean for agriculture? If you're spraying pesticides, like, is that ecocide? I don't know how these things will then intersect with what's currently happening, because, you know, the majority of the uplands are used for deer shooting and, you know, managed for deer, and deer prevent natural regeneration of woodland. Like, where does it sit? Anyway, I just think it's interesting. Hopefully, it's got all of these other stages to go through. If it does reach kind of like the process where it can become an act, it should be by May 2026 next year. There's every chance that it could be voted down and then it gets dropped as a bill.
Yeah, and the important thing to say with bills like this is that they can be dropped and they do come back.
They might come back and be refined.
Exactly, because you see a lot of MPs, you know, obviously rightly criticised, but sometimes they get criticised for blocking certain bills quite early on, and people say, like, how can you block something like this? And you know, I'm privileged enough to have spoken to some lords and some MPs when we did our work with trophy hunting, and you know, just talk with them openly and honestly about that kind of stuff. And their answers were all the same, going, we do it when the bill doesn't work as a bill. Like, if it's not going to protect or stop the thing it's trying to do, there's no point going further with it. Go back, rewrite it, bring it back. So that nuance is often missed when it's being reported on why it was blocked. So it is important to remember that, you know, sometimes when they do get blocked, it's not because certain MPs might just not want it to happen. Sometimes that's true.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's because, no, if that goes through, there's going to be too many loopholes and you're not actually achieving what you set out to do.
Yeah. And then it's another reason for environmental destructors or detractors to be like, well, you've got this law, it's not working, so why do we need another one? It's just like, oh, okay, right.
Yeah, exactly. That. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on.
Hey nerds, sorry to interrupt the show, it's Ryan here. I just wanted to pop on to tell you something quick. We always want Into the Wild to be a free and accessible show, but it does cost to run this thing. So if you ever have any spare pennies or pounds and you want to chuck it towards your favourite nature, wildlife and conservation podcast, then you can do so by going to www.ko-fi.com/intothewildpod. The link is in the write-up of this episode. Anything you're able to give goes straight back into the shows we produce. Anyway, I'll shut up now. Back onto nature news.
Well, my first story is about re-wiggling rivers. Actually, more specifically, chalk stream.
Oh, we love
which
a
is
chalk
nice,
stream
isn't it?
here on the podcast.
Do love a chalk. We do. So it's an ambitious project restoring a 4.3 mile or 7 kilometre stretch of rare chalk river to its original course. So Herts and Middlesex Wildlife Trust said that it's a landmark scheme on the River Ash, and the Easnigh Estate near Hertford was one of the largest of its kind in the country. So the whole project has taken nearly 8 years to plan and undertake, and also created a range of new wetlands. Sarah Perry, who is the river catchment coordinator for the trust, said it would help protect the area from flooding and help maintain the ecosystem balance. The work included the creation of wiggles, which I'm assuming everyone knows what that means when I say that. But if you don't,
I would define it.
Okay, so so rivers were artificially straightened for in the hundreds of years ago. In the time that was done, it made a lot of sense. But when we look at what we know now, we can see it creates more damage. So re-wiggling a river is putting the natural curvature back into it and then letting the river take its natural course on flow that it's going to do. So that's been a big process in this natural winding path and the reconnection of the river to its floodplain. It's been raised with more than 3,000 tonnes of gravel and more than 300 woody debris features were put in the water to create shelter for fish. 15 ponds were also created. Ms. Perry also said it's rewarding to see such an ambitious project completed in Hertfordshire. The level of the scale and impact is really exciting. So it's nice to see things like this going on in this world, especially to do with water.
I've got 2 questions.
You got 2 questions.
Where is Hertfordshire?
Hertfordshire is, well, you were there.
Was I?
Yeah, you were at my birthday.
Was that Hertfordshire?
Bishop Stortford, yeah. So this is, Hertford is on that train line is at the end, Hertford.
And shall we go?
Sure. Yeah.
I would like
Yeah.
to see
Do you want to
that.
go?
I would like to see
Yeah,
that.
we could maybe get in touch and see
Have
if
you
we can-
knowingly seen a chalk stream?
Not knowingly. No.
Ryan,
No.
it's one of the most stunning. Absolutely, like you look at it and you're like, well, basically, there's magic. This is magic. It's the clearest,
magic.
most beautiful water. And they're just such biodiversity rich, delicate, special, precious habitats. I would love to go to re-wiggle in a chalk stream with you.
What song comes to mind when you look at a chalk stream?
Gosh, I think that's impossible.
Is it?
Yeah.
Nothing by Enya? Or, no?
Nothing by Enya.
Okay. I just assumed maybe
Probably
an Enya
something
song.
by Enya.
Any of their back catalogue.
Yeah. Well, that's nice. So I just struck into my head that kids are back at school. Well, they're not. They're on half term, which is really visible. But they're back.
Sorry, are they back at school or not?
They're back at school, but now already on half term. And then I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, natural history GCSE. I'm going to go look to see where we're
Good
at
Lord.
with that.
Where is it?
Because I remember reading that children should be starting the natural history GCSE from September 2025.
Yeah.
Could I find anything online about it being live? I went to the OCR, which are going to be the body, the Cambridge OCR are going to be the producers of of that curriculum and that examination.
Okay.
And it's just like old news, which is just like set to be start in 2025. And I'm like, yes, it's past September 2025. No one's...
There's nothing on it.
It's like the news has just gone quiet. So what I'm guessing is it's going to be delayed then. Like everything I read about the natural history GCSE is like it's set to start in September. People should be taking it in September 25. That's the last news, and then it's just gone quiet.
Okay, maybe we need to reach out to Mary Colwell and ask.
And ask, because I'm obsessed with you and I doing practice papers together.
You really want to put me through an exam, don't you?
I really want to put you through an exam. But yeah, so it looks like it looks like what I imagine is they're trying to put together the curriculum still for it, and it's been delayed. But that no one's saying that. I'm having to read between the lines. It's annoying.
Right.
Me.
Okay. Well, we can find that out. We can find that out easy. Maybe on next week we can
Dragging out.
have that actual update.
Imagine everyone starting the GCSE this year who really wanted to take it and now can't.
No, I know. Yeah. No, that's it's shit. But we don't know. Maybe it is there. Maybe it's just the last news it was coming in and it's come in. But I don't know.
If anyone wants to really bug them, I guess, if you want to email naturalhistory@ocr.org.uk and just be like, where is it?
Where is it?
They have got an
what's going
FAQ section as well, naturalhistory@ocr.org.uk. If you want to find out more. These are their FAQs. What is natural history? Where did the idea for natural history GCSE come from? Why have you called this proposed new qualification natural history? Why do you develop a new GCSE? These are not. I want to know.
These are not frequently
when
asked
is
questions.
it starting? Why haven't you made it yet?
What is the delay?
How would the GCSE fit into a packed curriculum? It says.
No one's ever spoken like that. Nice. Well, let's see if we can get some answers. Maybe me and you can just drop them a quick email. Go, hi, it's Ryan and Nadia from Into
Yeah,
the
it still
Wild.
says
What's
here in
going
their
on?
FAQs, the new qualification could be taught from September 2025. There's no update on that.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
Let's get that update and we can pass that on to the nerds. My last bit of news is it is a negative, but I think we all saw it coming. So I think as much as I'm like, this is sad, I don't know how I feel about it yet. I'm still doing some processing on it. So basically, this was a Guardian article. It's been in a lot of the news. It came out a couple of days ago. That the planet's first catastrophic climate tipping point has been reached. A report says, with coral reefs facing widespread dieback. So basically, the Earth has reached its first catastrophic tipping point linked to greenhouse gas emissions, with warm water and coral reefs now facing long-term decline and risking the livelihoods of hundreds of millions of people, according to this new report. The report from scientists and conservationists warns that the world is also on the brink of reaching other tipping points, including the dieback of the Amazon rainforest, the collapse of major ocean currents, and the loss of ice sheets. But some experts have questioned the report's claims about the fate of coral reefs, with one saying while they are in decline, there is evidence they could remain viable at higher temperatures than suggested. But I'm going to put a pin in that point until we go further down. So to talk a bit more about coral reefs, basically they've been in the midst of a global bleaching point event. Since January 2023. It's the fourth and worst on record ever. with more than 80% of reefs in more than 80 countries affected by extreme temperatures. The Global Tipping Point report, led by the University of Exeter and financed by the fund of the Amazon owner Jeff Bezos, I'm not giving him any credit for that, includes contributions from 160 scientists from 87 institutions in 23 countries. It estimates that coral reefs hit a tipping point where global temperatures reach between 1 and 1.5 degree, where they were in the latter half of the 19th century, with the central estimate of 1.2 degrees. Global heating is now at 1.4 degrees Celsius. Without rapid and unlikely cuts to greenhouse gases, the upper threshold of 1.5 would be hit in the next 10 years, the report says. However, Professor Peter Mumby, a leading coral reef scientist at the University of Queensland in Australia, said he accepted the reefs were in decline, but there was emergent evidence that corals would adapt, with some reefs remaining viable even at 2 degrees Celsius of global heating. He said coral reefs needed aggressive action on climate change and improved local management, but he was concerned some would interpret this report as saying coral reef habitats were heading for collapse, which is a position he did not support. So it's an interesting article, as always, linked in this write-up. But there's a couple of points I want to talk to you about, Nadia. So first of all, tipping points. What we mean by that is if they go over the point of no return. And I think ocean warming is something we've known about this as a warning system. This isn't come out of nowhere. I think you and I and most people listening knew this was a warning. And we're heading for it in the next 10 years. And it's pretty much happening now, is terrifying. It's also very sad and has a lot of grief attached to that. The other part I wanted to talk about is this Professor Mumby saying, and I'm not taking away his obviously major expertise on corals here, because he's way more knowledgeable about it than me, but I think we also have to be careful at how much we downplay news like this and say, well, some corals will be okay. And because, two things can be true at the same time. You and I say that to each other all the time. Some species will sometimes favour or be okay during global temperature increase. But if you look at the now, or let's go back 50 years ago, at that time, the species we have were also doing fine at the current temperatures. All of them were. So I think it's important to not go like, well, don't worry, some will be okay. It's like, okay, but a lot will not be. And that's the bit we need to focus on. And actually go, yes, it's nice to have hope. Yes, it's nice to have, a bit of like, oh, okay, so it's not the end of the world. But it kind of is also for a lot of species. It is the end of their world. So, it's not nice news. We know we need drastic action. We know we need to off with fossil fuels. We know we need to invest in renewable energy. We know we need to tax polluters in order to invest in this. But that's the report we've got so far. There's a lot more information in that article. Please do give it a read. Clue yourself up with what scientists and conservationists are saying. But yeah, that's the headline.
I mean, I don't know where to go with this really, Ryan. Part of me is just like the silliness of sitting on the sidelines, nitpicking over tipping points and numbers and the meaning. What does it mean for 4 species to go extinct and 5 to survive? What does it mean for us to science it and sit and talk about it? What does all of this work mean? I think I'm in a way more cosmic space. This is where it's propelled me by some kind of painful climate centrifugal force out of this conversation into this, like, I'm sat looking down going, what is this? What is the purpose of this kind of conversation, language, debate, tipping point, danger, tipping point, again, statistics, species, coral reefs? Like, we all know that the planet is slowly crumbling, degrading and dying, and it only has meaning if it leads to change. And humans have been shown to not necessarily operate and make change happen as a result of these things. Sometimes I don't know where I am. I think it just got hit in the head with a sad statistic. Maybe I'm processing grief live on the podcast right now.
Yeah, no, it's fair. Like I said, it holds a lot of grief in it, and I think you know, as much as everyone, and I mean in our bubble, knows we've headed towards that, it doesn't make it easier when you get to it either. You know, we fight, we do a lot to make sure we don't get to these kind of bits of news. And, you know, a lot of us have put careers through trying to not get to these kind of headlines and news. But, you know, at the same time, you do kind of fear that more articles like this are going to come forward. And I think you're absolutely right. What does it mean to kind of sit here and question certain elements of it? But, you know, how often are we actually sat there? And I mean, everyone sat there going, how do I feel about this? This is awful. This is, you know, where's actually that grief happening? Because we can't just sit there and talk statistics and data.
Where are the receivers? Where are the receivers of this information? What are the, I'm thinking about, like, you know, cells in the body. You know, our bodies are these incredible systems that over millennia have been refined to work and regulate temperature and emotion and all this stuff. And every little chemical that pumps, or cell molecule that pumps through the body, there's a receptor somewhere, and it all works beautifully. And then, you know, if we look at ourselves as like one big organism putting out these signals into the ether of tipping point, data, statistics, where are the receptors beyond you and I right now receiving it?
Yeah.
And how does it all fit together? This is where I'm at. I should probably go and write some poetry the rest of the evening.
I think, like, for me, I don't know, with stories like this, because I sat there, I was reading it earlier, and I just sat there, I was having a cup of tea, and I sat in my chair, and I kept looking outside, and I just kept thinking about it. And for me, it doesn't take long to kind of not digest it. Maybe, I don't know. It's just shit, and I'm like, I'm sad about it, and I'm angry about it.
I think that's what I'm going through. I think I'm sad and I'm angry, and I'm doing the dangerous default. How do we fix it? Who's listening? Instead of just being shit and angry for a bit.
But I think, again, we know, we maybe, you know, this is nuance in this, is very simplistic, but we know how to fix it. But we also know who's not listening.
Do, though.
No, but we do.
No, but we don't. No, we do. We do in a pragmatic sense. Like, we need to turn off the cars and the factories.
That's what I mean. The answers haven't changed. That's
not what we need to. This is where we get it wrong. That's not what we need to do, because the reality is our systems aren't allowing that to happen. Right? So that's not an option, because we have patriarchy, we have wealth, we have power hoarding, we have greed, we have individualistic culture where everybody needs the thing that they want to wear. That's reality. Do you see what I mean?
There's
totally. Two different realities here. There's, all we need to do is stop emitting carbon. But that's not the reality. The reality is that we have got, like, you might just say, like, oh, right, the reality is, if I want to be rich, I can just go in the bank and take some gold. But you can't, can you? Because the reality is you're one person and there's about 10,000 barriers between you and that. So we have to actually confront the system. And that's when it feels like a head fuck. Sorry for it's the third time I've used the F word.
I bleep them out, don't worry.
I know, I listen back. So it's kind of like, we do know the solution.
Yeah,
also,
no, I see what your point.
Do we actually have a project plan to fix all of the intricacies and steps along the way to make sure that we become a culture of people who ultimately don't want to harm the environment, and it never gets harmed because no one around the table would vote for harming it. That's how much our culture loves it. That's where we want to get to. Yeah,
no, you're right. I think maybe more an accurate sentence there is, like, we know the problem more than we know the solution from it. Like, yeah. We have some, like, we can name some gentle solutions, which is like, we need to be a more compassionate culture that's less individualistic. It takes work across, all of the different. Yeah, no, it does. Yeah, cool. But yeah, I think it's why not eat the rich. Eat the rich. Stop buying shit. I mean, also that, stop buying shit, please. Please do it. I know you're doing it. I'm doing it, and I'm telling people I'm not. We all lie. You're all buying shit. Stop it. I feel like she's we're coming into Black Friday. We're coming into Black Friday era. If you're listening to this and you buy something on Black Friday, stop listening. Unless you're poor and working class, and it's the only way that you can actually get something you need. Apart from that caveat. I wish people could see your face when you say stuff like that. You say a very strong, serious point, and then your eye roll goes, obviously.
No, but you know what it is though as well? Can I just say, of course I can, because it's my podcast.
Yeah.
I know there's this narrative that's going around like, oh, it's not the individual, it's systems, like, it's not down to you. It also is down to you. Stop leaning on that to continue being a mass consumer. Like, yes, you shouldn't carry the burden of the world on the shoulder because you've been born in a white country, white supremacy, history of colonialism. You shouldn't carry all that and cry about it. Get over it, process the grief. But also do not use that as an excuse to then keep living the way that you want to live, right? You have to find a really beautiful balance. God, I'm coming across as awfully bossy
I think
at the end of this podcast. I'm sorry, but like it's about processing grief appropriately and having an appropriate response rather than a knee-jerk response. But also, if you are buying stuff that you don't need, and I promise you, 98% of the time you don't need it, then
I think it's going back to what we said at the beginning of the podcast. Two things can be true at the same time, right? So it's like you know, it can be individualistic and it can be a system problem at the same time. So but if you want that system to collapse a little bit, take yourself out of it.
Yeah, for sure. And then
like that's it. Take you to stop pedaling the bike.
Yeah, exactly. And then like, you know, when all these systems do collapse, use this time now where you're not buying stuff to learn skills that'll be useful come post-capitalism.
100%. Yeah.
Learn how to, you know, wire a light bulb.
You know, wire a light bulb.
Whatever it is that the electrician.
Just if we all started wiring light bulbs, we'd honestly. No, it was a bit of a big news. I think it's done the rounds, and a lot of people have reacted to it on social media, rightfully so. So give it a read. Don't be scared to read those kind of reports. They're very important to kind of know where the world is at. But as Nadia said, process it and go through that grief and just kind of really think about how you feel with it as well.
And know that next week we'll probably bring back orcas, poo, and, you know, koalas with chlamydia.
Yeah, it's a real roller coaster with this show. No, thanks for tuning into Nature News Week 27. As always, you know where the social media is. You know how to review us. You know if you share us and tag us, we'll share it and send you a nice DM back saying, love you for that, thanks.
And if that wasn't worth £3 of your money...
Exactly.
Then I don't
forget
know what is.
If you can go to coffee.com/into the wild pod, you can make a one-off donation, or you can sign up monthly for a donation to support myself and Nadia into making these shows and future projects as well, to bring you all the nature, conservation, wildlife and community news around the world. But until next week, when we're back with some silly and sensible news.
Yeah, and enjoy that pumpkin spice latte and crunchy leaves.
I feel so seen. Bye.
Bye.